What have you learned from moving from a player mentality to a coach mentality in baseball?
Yeah, no, it is very, it's a huge shift. Because for what I was scared of when I was done playing is like you wouldn't feel that competitive drive. Like, and that's what I loved. I loved being competitive. I liked competing, whether that was at baseball, whether that was at something else. But I was nervous that that wasn't going to be there. So that was part of the hesitation to even making that jump. Like for many years, I did nothing with baseball, and I kind of looked to fill that competitive itch somewhere else. But I started coaching with some buddies, and realized, oh, this is like it does scratch that itch. This is really cool, and there's a lot of other really cool things that you can do that that as a player you can't do, or like that I had coaches do for me. I think the biggest thing I have now that I wish I had when I was a player is probably perspective. Like when you're a player, um, that's like baseball. That's the biggest thing. Like that's you kind of hang your hat on your performance, how you did, how you're like competing and excelling on the field. And if you're not, you have nothing to hang your hat on. So as a coach, I've stepped back. Um, there's bigger things in life. That's what I've learned. Um, and that new perspective, when you're a player and you fail, it feels like this huge deal. When you're a coach watching a player fail, you see them think, oh my gosh, that's a huge deal. But as a coach, you know it's not that big of a deal. You need to pick yourself up. You need to, like, you're going to have more opportunities. And I wish I had that um, kind of bounce back. You got to have it to an extent just as a baseball player, but I wish I had more of that kind of bounce back mentality. And that's been cool. That's what I really try to focus on, instilling that in all our players.
Yeah. Do you think that um, as a coach, that's part of your responsibility to teach your players that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
And
think I think a big thing, like coaching is a real stylistic, like there's different styles of coaches. You got to wear different suits for different days or different players, and depending on the kind of coaches you have on your staff or you don't have on your staff, you need like you might need to fill a role that like you got to have someone that's really on the players. Like you got to be like hold them to a certain standard, but at the same time you don't want it to just feel like business. So you need a little more players coach for that player coach interaction. So it's very kind of fluid, very stylistic. You got to be creative and think on your feet, and that's fun. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of fun.
talk me through how you learn how to be both of those people at different times.
Yeah,
Like that different mentality of being the player's coach versus really being like a coach's coach, if you will.
for sure.
Like, how do you learn that?
I mean, I think I'm still learning. I don't think I know it. It's I think it completely boils down to experience. Like you see, like you coach for a bunch of years, you do it with a bunch of different people, different styles. You see what works, what doesn't work. You got to get to know the kids, see what they respond to. And I mean, at the end of it, it's just thinking on your feet and quick. And that's, which very similar to being a player. You know, it's quick, thinking on your feet. So that's another cool similarity to coaching.
Yeah. How does coaching scratch the competitive itch? You mentioned like wanting to get back into
Yeah.
baseball to scratch that. How does coaching scratch that itch?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's the guys that we've trained and we've worked with lined up across from the guys that the other team has trained and worked with. So I mean, it's still baseball. It's still a competitive game that you get to, like there's a winner and there's a loser, which is great. I love that. Um, And I like our guys. I like their work ethic. I like their determination. And I think the stuff that we do with them and for them is better than I think we've just prepared our guys better. And it's just fun to see if we're right or wrong
Yeah.
when you line up for competition.
Yeah. How obviously that's so rewarding to
Absolutely.
put. I think it's actually very interesting that because I've never really considered it, that competitive itch be getting scratched from the coaching side.
Sure.
It makes sense. Like, obviously, coaches, you see them get fired up in any sport.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think about it from like you're pouring into these guys
Sure.
that then like they play the game, but it's so important to obviously coaches are necessary. It's so important to have those coaches that it is rewarding to see your work pouring into them, teaching them like how to approach the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like I wonder how much pouring into them skills wise versus the mentality side of it is different. If that makes sense. And maybe if you've experienced that, if you remember, because I wonder as a player if you even realize that the mentality side of it is a way that coaches are pouring into you.
Yeah.
Because I remember for me playing sports, like I didn't play sports for a super long time. I didn't play sports in high school, super duper competitively, and so I remember it felt like they're teaching me how to be better at the sport, like how to play the sport better. And I'm sure at the more highly competitive level, it's less of that because you know how to swing a bat, how to kick a ball, whatever. How did you see that as a player, and how do you do that and balance that? Like these guys know how to play baseball, but they don't know maybe how to think about baseball.
Exactly.
Where's that balance?
I mean, I think you nailed it. It is at the high school level. There's still you're still kind of shoring up some technical and fundamental like aspects of the sport. But I think in most cases you don't really start getting into that the mental preparation or the mental aspect until beyond high school, which I think is a huge disservice to all the players, because it does end up being a lot more mental than physical when everyone has roughly the same skill set. And so that's, again, it kind of, you have to read the player. Some guys take mental stuff really well. Some guys just give me the technical stuff. I'll work with that. But I think the earlier you start instilling kind of that mental toughness, whatever you want to call it, that kind of bounce back, like let's keep things in perspective, like you're going to fail. But you get to come back and do it again tomorrow. The earlier that kind of gets instilled in them, I think the better, and let that kind of marinate, and they'll just be better baseball players. And then beyond that, I mean, they're going to be better husbands, better fathers, better employees. Like that's the beauty of it, is that this stuff translates to real life. That's why sports are cool. It just prepares you.
Yeah, concrete ties that difference a little bit, or that connection. I mean, between like going from learning those things as a player, teaching those things as a coach, like make that connection between how then in your real life, in your personal relationships, as a husband, as a friend, just in general, how do those things come into play? Like, what are some nuances? I'm sure there's some differences, right?
For sure.
What's the connection there?
I mean, as a coach, I've talked about reading the player a lot. Excuse me. Edit that out in post. I knew I was going to use it once. I've talked about reading the player a lot. And I think how that starts is you got to listen. A lot of coaches will just talk and talk and talk and just expect the kids to be a sponge that just absorbs everything that exits their mouth. But you need, like a sponge can only hold so much water, even a good sponge, So I think it starts with listening, letting the players talk, see where they are, and then use that and don't overcoach. And I think that's super applicable in marriage. Obviously, we're both newly married. Just kind of, if if something's going on, if you got to work through an issue, I think listening, seeing both, if there's a disagreement, seeing both sides, and then not overcoaching, not taking the reins too much, kind of working through it together as opposed to, I'm the coach, this is how you're going to do it. You don't have any say, like quit fighting this. Yeah, I think that's been a very useful skill or attribute.
Yeah, and it is funny to almost call it coaching in marriage.
Oh, for sure.
It's different. But like you're hitting on, there's a bit of a nuance in like the authority of a coach. Like there's a very clear hierarchy there. Whereas like in marriage, it's not quite as like, you know, you're pretty much equals.
Sure. Yep.
Where I would imagine some of the tactics of coaching players would not work.
Probably
in
not.
Marriage.
Yeah. In a healthy marriage, probably not.
Yeah. Where like what is maybe like the, if you had, I don't know if you can even pick one, but if there was like a key tactic in coaching that has made like your marriage, your friendships, your relationships with like your family maybe even, and even developing new relationships with people when you meet people, like what's like the number one skill like you would say is key in that?
Let me think. A key tactic.
You can get a little closer to the mic too.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of far. Let me think. Key tactic for, I don't know if there's one key. Obviously, listening is very important. That's what we just talked about. But beyond that, I don't know. Let me pass. I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Let me think about a key. I don't know.
No, that's
a tough one.
And I think there being not a clear answer is an answer.
Sure.
Because it's probably such an amalgamation of skills that you learn in getting someone to do something at a high level, that then translating that to being encouraging in a like off the field relationship, like a more personal relationship.
Sure.
Is probably maybe a huge takeaway, right?
Yeah.
That when there's not a clear-cut authority line, you have to be very aware in all those situations.
Yeah,
and
good.
So that is cool. I like that. I like when there's a very generalizable. It's a fun big word.
That is a big word.
Generalizable kind of rule or takeaway, like that of like there's not one way to do this right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which on some levels can be frustrating because it's kind of just like you're saying, be better and do that by being better.
Yeah. Sometimes that is, exactly.
But I think the takeaway of listening is cool. How listening to players, that's an interesting thing, because on a lot of levels, my intuition would tell me that players have a very limited like mindset about things. Especially, I would think
definitely less experience.
Yes, way less experience.
Yeah,
for sure. Because a lot of coaches played at some level, right? That's why they know the sport. And it's like they played, and then they've probably been coaching for a while. Yeah. Theoretically, players, I would think, a lot less experience, just a less developed mindset about things. How do you gauge, like listening to the player and kind of letting them speak versus like intaking what they are actually thinking? Like where is that line?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like what I'm trying to ask. Like, where's that line between letting them speak and hearing what they have to say,
but still getting them to the conclusion that I want them?
Yes. Like what they need, getting them to where they need to be.
Exactly. I think when I think about coaching, I think of a shepherd, right? And like the players are just a flock of sheep, and you don't like walk each sheep individually. You just move them. You kind of just herd them in a direction, and they will end up where they need to end up. Sometimes going to go this way, but eventually they'll come back and end up where they need to end up. So I think that's the mindset that I go into it with, is that your path to kind of where we want you to end up is going to look real different. It's not going to be straight. It'll be a little wavy. But if we just keep kind of corralling and making sure you don't get too far, you're going to end up where we know you need to end up. So I just shepherd, flock of sheep, great Christian principles there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how it all just kind of connects and it's all together.
Mm. That's so rooted in Christian teaching.
Sure, absolutely.
That is a very cool connection.
Yeah.
And I think too, like having, like kind of building on that, like shepherding them, having almost a team mentality, where maybe, to put it maybe a little too mathematically, like the average of your guys, like on average, they're gonna have the mentality you need them to have. Yep. Baseline.
Exactly.
And would you say that it's almost like the real high performers, not even performers, but the real like the guys that have that mentality like locked in?
Yep.
Does that encourage the guys that are kind of falling behind
Absolutely.
to pick up and figure it out?
Yeah. I mean, what's the a high tide raises all boats?
Yeah, high tide. Yeah.
I think that's the saying. Mm-hmm. But that's the gist of it is like when one guy starts to get it, the next guy starts to get it, and then the next guy will follow. And it's just sort of this domino effect. And then you got 15, 16, 17, like teenage high school guys falling in line, taking care of school work, taking care of baseball work, going to Bible study. And then bigger picture, that starts to affect the school and other people that they interact with outside of school. So it's absolutely a domino effect that just starts with keeping them headed in the right direction.
Yeah. Why do you think some guys are more prone to seeing that mentality than others?
It's a great question. I don't know. That could be parenting. That could be personal relationship with Christ. It could also just be a big thing we talk about is ego and humility. And you can't let ego get in the way of anything because it's tough to make changes, and we're always trying to make changes, ask for changes. So this is another great lesson for marriage. Don't let ego get in the way. Always be humble. But I think guys that kind of put the team first, put themselves second, a little more sacrificial, they're more inclined to kind of buy into those mindsets, and they'll be kind of the first dominoes to fall. And often those are the guys, like they have a lot of say on the team. Guys recognize that. They kind of see that humility, and they like to fall behind that and rally behind that. So it's super cool.
Interesting drawing the connection between that, like kind of sacrificial towards the team first, but then also leadership in that way.
Yeah.
I think that connection is somewhat profound, honestly. Like that's a pretty profound connection.
It's very counterintuitive.
Yes, absolutely.
Very counterintuitive.
I think a lot of like the intuitive way to think about it is, okay, the guy who's the best at the game, he's going to be like the leader of the team, and he's going to like lead the team.
Yeah.
He's going to be in control and like be number one guy.
Yep.
How often do you see guys that maybe aren't the best skillfully, but turn out to be the best leaders in the team?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we see a lot. And it's just that team first mentality. And for whatever reason, people rally behind that. Your best player. Now, you're still going to rally behind your best performers too. But if you just had performers and you didn't have these team players also, it'd be like a coaching staff with too many players coaches and no one to kind of toe the line and like get things in order.
No balance.
Yeah, no balance. Exactly. So everything's got to be balanced. So you got to have team guys buying in, and then you're always well, you're not always going to have performers, but it helps when you have performers because you're better.
Sure. Yeah.
You got to have good players.
Yeah. If you don't got guys that can play,
it's tough to win games.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's probably more, I guess, like enjoyable? Because like, obviously the point in sports is to win.
For sure.
But especially I think for kids, right? Like high schoolers.
Yeah.
Almost not kids, but it's
almost adults. Yeah.
Yeah, which is.
But some of them mentally, they act like kids. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so some of them they're gonna go out to college and still be kids, and they're gonna get a job and still be a kid. Like especially for kids, it's like obviously it's important to teach them the importance of performance. Like it's you want to be someone that's good at something, but it's really important for them to like to enjoy it too, right?
Sure.
Because if you're really good at something and hate every minute of it, then on some level, what's the point?
Yeah.
And so, do you think that even if you don't have high performers, or even if some of the guys aren't high performers, and they're real neurotic about that, maybe, do they have a better time whenever you have more team mentality guys?
Absolutely, 100%.
Even if you had like zero,
I think.
Even if you had like zero high performers, do you think that you would have, even if you're like not winning a whole lot of games, it would still be enjoyable for those guys if they had that team mentality?
I think so. I think they would get some enjoyment out of it. Obviously, not as much because like winning is cool. Winning is pretty cool. All right, so going back, I think the key tactic. We're going back to it. I mean, I got it. I do think that key tactic, like probably the most translatable, is encouragement. I think for players, for loved ones, for new friends, people, like if you can bring one thing to a conversation or a relationship, I think encouragement would be that. And obviously it looks different on the baseball field as it does in a marriage conversation or conversations with friends. But I think that key tactic probably goes further than any other thing that we do. I mean, high schoolers, they just need that. They thrive on that. It lets them, that's how you let them know, like, good, you're headed in the right direction. We're going to keep corralling you. That encouragement keeps them moving forward. Because if they don't have any encouragement, I mean, the sheep is just going to plant its feet. It's not going to move, not going to reach its destination. So that encouragement keeps that train moving, and that's I think that's the most important.
I think a lot of people beyond high school need more encouragement.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of negativity, especially on like with just the internet culture.
Sure,
it's a lot easier to be a cynical person than it is to be a positive person. It seems like increasingly so.
Yeah,
and so bringing that encouragement just across the board. Like learning that from a young level and bringing and knowing that and feeling that from such a young age.
Yeah. Seems
like such a good way to set yourself up for all of life, right? Sure.
They will become encouragers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the encouraged will become encouragers, and that's pretty valuable.
Yeah, and how do you find? I mean, I would say you're a very good encourager. Like that's probably.
Thank you. I think you are too.
Well, thank you. That's very encouraging of you.
I know. Look at us. Look at us.
How would you teach somebody to be more encouraging? Because not everyone's grown up being encouraged, right?
Sure.
Not everyone it's very obvious to them, and so if you haven't been encouraged, how would you encourage somebody to get better at that and to do that for other people?
Yeah, I mean, I think your first key is communication. So you got to listen and understand that person and communicate with them on a level that you know where they need it, like where they're hurting or where they're struggling or where they're lacking, just kind of where you need to give a little pickup. So I think understanding them is the first key. And then, I mean, really the words will just happen. Like the idea, the encouragement, that will just happen. If I'm trying to encourage a kid, I see like what they need, like, you know, their swing, maybe something's not going right, but if they do it right, I can encourage that feeling of like, good, you did this, you did X, Y, Z, whatever it is. I think the words are less important than the idea or like the action. Mm-hmm. But you do need to know where to put it, because you could just encourage a random aspect or something and it might not land.
Yeah.
But if you understand where it needs to be targeted, mm-hmm. it's pretty potent.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Do you think that encouragement is, I won't ask you if you think if across the board this is true, but do you think that most of the time encouragement and criticism are like, you could switch out your criticism for encouragement and do that instead?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Like,
I can clarify that
expound,
a little bit. Yeah. So if someone is maybe doing something that I'll say you don't like,
sure.
or maybe you have a different idea of what they should be doing. Like it's very easy to maybe to tell them they're doing it wrong, right?
Yeah.
And to be critical of that. To me, it seems like, and maybe that is a little bit specific, you could pretty easily just kind of like, Indiana Jones with the bag of sand.
Just switch them out.
Yeah, just switch that out, and like instead of
Good
being
example.
critical, encourage, right?
Yeah.
And encourage them to do something else. Instead of just say, hey, that was bad, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, instead of, like, I don't know, instead of not doing the dishes for a week, do them like let's like figure out a schedule or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That could be a marriage example.
Yeah. No, I'm tracking with you now.
Yeah. So question being, do you think that is pretty generalizable, to use that fun word again? New word.
Wow.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Do you think that can be used more generally, or do you think there's a line to toe there, kind of similar to that, like coaches or players coach versus like coach,
for sure,
hard nosed.
I think at the end of the day, you do need both. You for sure need both. Could encouragement be swapped into the place of criticism a little more often? Probably. Yeah, I think we're quicker to criticize than encourage, and that's the hat you need to figure out that you need to wear. Like maybe you're on a coaching staff, or in a friend group or something where everyone's real critical, and you need to be the kind of pick them up, like the yin to the yang. But I mean, the flip side of the coin is if everyone's just real nice, you can't really corral the sheep because everyone's real nice. You got to have someone a little sterner, maybe the forget what the hook is called.
Oh, is it just a shepherd's hook?
Probably.
A shepherd's hook, yeah.
I thought it had a fancy name.
Oh, I'm sure it probably does.
We need to get a third member, have someone looking up.
The producer.
Yeah, the producer, Kiyomi. But yeah, you need someone a little sterner touch to kind of keep them. But
shepherd's crook?
Crook. That's what it was.
A crook?
Yeah,
okay.
Crook. Whoops. Edit that out in post. I think as a whole, yeah, I agree with your generalization that encouragement is probably more lacking than criticism. But both are good.
It would seem
both
like
are very good.
You would need to have somebody or at least the mentality to set boundaries, right?
Exactly.
Like if you just you always encourage sheep. I think you made a really good example there with the sheep. That's such a good way to think about it. Mm-hmm. Where if you're just encouraging the sheep to continue to go, and you're not corralling them in, you're not setting those boundaries. I think that's a really, really good mental picture of it.
Sure.
Where you're going to lose some of those sheep because they're just going to keep going out and out and out and out. And how would you find them? How would you keep them in that group?
The crook.
And I think kind of, we're kind of doing that, the switch out with like you're talking about a coaching staff and then a friend group. Yeah, it's the same thing. And like you and your wife are the coaching staff of your marriage.
Like, that's good. This is a good line.
I mean, but you really are, right? And I would imagine that is especially true when you have little players running around, your little kids eventually. Yeah. And you gotta, and that's, I mean,
Wow, great analogy.
I mean, I talked to Gabe Velez about parenting a few weeks ago, and I mean, he's a little mellow, little guy. Oh, he's so cool. He's so awesome now. Well, he was still awesome the whole time, but he's almost a year old. It's
That's crazy.
But like I talked to him about parenting and how that's changed his mentality, and having, to compare it to a player, having another person that you have to teach both how to do things and how to think about things.
Yep.
That is a huge task, and it changes the way that you think about your life in general. And he said it's changed the way he thinks about like marriage.
Good.
And his relationship with God, because that level of, the way he put it, is the level of love that you feel for a child is before he had a kid, he didn't really understand the way that like God loves him.
Sure.
And the way he's put it, the moment that he held Mello, and then every other moment since then, it just crystallizes.
That's so cool.
What that love is.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And so it was amazing. That was such a cool conversation.
Yeah.
So spoiled for that to be the first episode.
I know,
of this
what
podcast.
An amazing episode. Gosh, Gabe.
He hits hard. He's such a cool guy to talk to, and but to now have that connection, like that crystal fully, or even more formed with thinking of like comparing to a coaching staff. Honestly,
sure.
So many people understand sports like at a somewhat basic level, and making those connections, I think, it's just such a good example to take yourself and disassociate from maybe a frustrating situation.
Right.
It's like, okay, yes, I'm mad at my husband or my wife, or my friend for transgressing me in some way.
Sure.
Instead of, thinking of like, oh, I'm mad at my friend, it's like, okay, well, if a coach had a player that was getting on their nerves, how would they handle this?
Yeah.
And like starting from there,
Yep.
It just pulls you out of maybe a level of anger or a deep emotion that you're not able to
exactly
that process
perspective.
The perspective, exactly.
Perspective that I got as a coach that I didn't have as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the encouragement being then like using that tactic, that skill in that frustrating situation, that person, maybe not the first time, but like if you do that regularly, that
sure.
person will then be able to do that for you.
Yeah.
It's so reciprocal.
Super, super cool.
And maybe that connection starts to break down with the sports, with players.
Yeah, to an extent.
But
yeah.
I mean,
I'm tracking.
Yeah.
I'm tracking with you.
So pretty awesome there.
Yeah.
I think that crystallizing how relationships can just from a very basic level be handled. I think there's a lot of complicated, I'm sure, theories and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Psychology with how to really implement stuff and phrasing and tone, all that kind of stuff. But I like what you said earlier, how the words don't matter as much as the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's actually a very cool takeaway, because if you say something with maybe the wrong words,
sure.
Actually, do it the other way. With the right words in the wrong way, it doesn't matter what you said.
Right.
Because you said it the wrong way. But if
sure.
you say something in the right way with the wrong words, you could just be so awkward, stumbling over your words. But if you're being encouraging, that person's going to feel that.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
they're going to probably know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I think that is another very big, lock it in kind of thing.
Sure.
That's awesome. I like how you mentioned ego too earlier.
Mm-hmm. It's big.
Ego being a very big thing.
And that's a big thing. Like that's a rising thing, like in youth as a whole, I think. There's just more ego and more look at me than I think maybe our generation had. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think there's just a little more. So that's been interesting to navigate with some of these younger kids.
Say more about that. Kind of expand on what you mean and why you think it's happening.
I don't know if it could just be social media, but a lot of these, a lot of these kids are just exposed to so much more, so much earlier on, that they feel more mature than they probably are. They feel like they're wearing bigger pants than they really are, and that you just have to. That's a situation where a little more criticism than encouragement is probably necessary. Kind of reel them back in a little bit, but yeah, I mean I feel like that's a whole conversation in itself. Where is this coming from? Is it social media? Is it parenting styles? Who knows? We'll see.
It's an interesting change. I think that maybe we kind of got the tail end of that
for sure
growing up.
Yeah.
And seeing, and we both have younger siblings,
right.
and I know one of your brothers, and I don't think they have it that bad.
No,
but like
sometimes.
Yeah. I've seen like especially big thing for me is seeing my sister's friends.
Right.
Some of them, especially growing up, had this affliction that you're talking about. I don't know. Definitely a much deeper conversation.
Yeah, that's a good little wormhole to dig out one time.
And I'm sure that there's all sorts of like behavioral psychology and probably some like evolutionary psychology, just the way like why we are the way we are behind that. So yeah, the mention of ego though, I'm curious, kind of moving a little bit in a different direction.
Yeah.
Like hobbies for you. I know we've talked a little bit about poker.
Yeah, I do play a little poker.
Yeah. Tell me about poker.
Sure. So I know a lot of red flags, alarms going off. Degenerate, broke. No. So I took a class in college about the mathematics of poker. And that's where I kind of learned about the game and how to really think about the game. So from a high level view, poker is a skill game that involves gambling, right? So there is a little gambling involved, but at its core, it's mathematics, it's probability and statistics, and my brain just ate that up. So I started playing a lot of poker throughout college, continued beyond college, ended up playing like semi-professionally with some sponsors and stuff like that for a good while. And that was my hobby, and it a lot of fun, super, super interesting. You'll meet interesting people. That's a different world, but kind of tying it back to baseball a little bit, learning how to fail, perspective like that. So poker, obviously, because there is gambling, there's chance and luck involved. Mm-hmm. You can make all the right decisions and still lose money. And coming to terms with that as a young 20-something-year-old kid, that was pretty tough. It's like I'm doing all of this right, but I'm still losing. And then as you do it, you continue to kind of disassociate yourself with the result, separate the result from the process, and you instill in yourself the goal here isn't to win and poker the most amount of money or win the most hands. The goal is to just make the most right decisions. And I think that, and if I'm doing what I can do, then losing or failing, it's okay. I've disassociated myself from the result. I'm doing what I can do. And that's another thing I wish I would have known as a player in baseball. So that's something I try to instill in the kids. Is like you need to separate result and process, and you'll be a better baseball player for it.
That's cool.
A lot of poker. I've enjoyed it a lot. I haven't been able to play as much with baseball, but that kind of filled the hobby void. But I do love the game.
Yeah. Well, and having a forced break from something is probably healthy.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I don't know. I haven't played a whole lot of poker, and so
I'll teach you.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. We'll play a little bit of poker.
I'm very interested because first of all, the fact that you went to a class in college
on super cool class,
the mathematics behind it, that is so cool and is very intriguing to my brain as well. Like the mathematics behind something like that. That is nothing could be more up my alley.
Yeah, you'd eat it up. No, you'd eat it up.
So we don't have to get into that here per se, but
poker podcast episode would be crazy.
little side episode.
Yeah, exactly.
How to win. Well, the winning doesn't matter.
Exactly. How to make the most right decisions.
How to make the most right decisions. I think of all the things that you just said about poker, there are so many lessons in there.
Oh yeah.
That work. Like I think disassociating from the outcome and focusing on high level inputs is a huge thing. Like, obviously the outcome is important
for sure,
but if you make the right decisions on the front end, your inputs into whatever your system is are correct, then everything that's in your control is taken care of.
Right, absolutely. And we're going to feel the result. Like, you can never 100% disassociate from what's going to happen. You just can't let it affect your future decision making.
Yeah.
And that's the line.
That's a huge thing. I started to get into day trading very briefly, like a year or two ago, and it's the same lesson.
Sure.
I mean, that is probably even more gambling than poker.
Oh, for sure. I think that's for sure.
It's like
but that's exciting.
That's very exciting. Yeah, because the wins can be very big.
Oh yeah.
But so can the losses.
It's true.
But like one of the key lessons there is that, like, okay, the result's going to happen if you just make sure all your inputs are correct and don't let it affect your next decision.
Yeah.
That's such a huge thing. And I think that applies so directly to life.
Absolutely.
With the ego from sports that we were talking about before. Such a huge
good
thing.
tie-in.
It's like if you're trying to win every single time, obviously that's the right thing. You should try and win most of the time. It's good. But if all you're focused on is whether or not you win, and that affecting your next decision, I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge takeaway, to not let like previous failures, because that may not be a mistake per se.
May not be a mistake.
Not letting that affect what you do next. And so there's also a level here of being maybe more okay, if that's the right way to maybe say it, with failure.
Love it.
And
yes.
looking.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Like maybe looking for the reasons, or if there were mistakes. Maybe connect that a little bit for me for what we've been kind of making these connections so far with your marriage, friends, playing sports, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think I mean we've hammered the sports point home for sure, but I think kind of looking at marriage and relationships, like when you do disassociate from the result, I feel like you care, at least in terms of relationships. You care more about the person that you're interacting with. You care about the reason you're doing whatever it is, your input. When you focus more on that, you focus more on the person as opposed to what this person is going to do for you, what you're going to get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because that's the result at the end of the day. It's like, what's in it for me? But if I don't care about that, if I'm just here to do the dishes because I love my wife, or go help a buddy move because these are my friends, I think your heart is in the right spot, and you're just in a much better position than like, what's in it for me.
Yeah, and those kinds of things are fundamental, I think, to set up that growth curve of the relationship.
Sure.
Where by having that mindset at the beginning and really continuing to have it, obviously, you will gain so much more than you would have if you were being selfish.
Absolutely.
Because those kinds of relationships that you build are the ones that are going to be so fruitful in the future. Like, those connections are the ones that you want to have. And if you start from the place of like, I want to have that with this person, you're probably poisoning the roots of that tree before it even starts to grow.
Good words.
I think it's a dangerous game to play, and kind of, I mean, so many good like Christian points here of having a servant mindset. Yeah. Like saying, okay, listen, I don't like doing the dishes, but like you said, I love my wife. I'll do the dishes. Yeah. I don't like moving furniture, but I like my friend. Yeah. And I love my friend. This guy, I love this guy, and I'm gonna help him move because he's more important than moving furniture. Right. And like it's almost like just pouring into those things that you care about. Yeah. and putting
team first mentality.
Yes.
Wow.
The team
full
first mentality.
Circle.
Dude, so many circles. This Venn diagram is going to be crazy.
This is a crazy Venn diagram. A lot of circles.
I mean, these Venn diagrams are really just like a single circle, basically.
That's okay.
It's like how to, I mean, and like that's good,
yeah.
right? Because I think the more connections that you can make between different facets of life, to me, that seems like the more successful you would be in any of those facets of life. Because realistically, I think
you're honing the same skills.
Yes, exactly. I think that everything that you do in life is basically the same thing with a slightly different like color palette, you know?
All right, let's jump into this. This is good.
This is like a little theory that I've had for a little while now.
Okay.
Of like everything is basically the same with a little bit of a different color palette.
Okay.
It's like you go into, if we're kind of hitting this, a lot of the examples right now, the way that you treat other people, because the main thing in anything is the other people, and then secondarily developing skills. The way that you handle yourself in difficult situations, regardless of the situation, translates to success. So personal relationships, your like the inner texture of your mind, the way that you think about things, will determine whether or not that personal relationship moves forward. The way you think about it. And I mean, I'm curious what you think on this kind of idea, but I really do think that all within a fairly wide set of points and a fairly general set of specifics, everything's the same. Life is life. Most systems are the same system with like the variables names are changed, basically. And
wow, good programmer talk.
Hey, programmer talk, a little bit of engineer talk, a little bit of like science talk.
This is how our brains work.
I mean, it really is. Finding the connections between things like that. Yeah. This is just like, I love this kind of stuff. All like the little nodes on the network, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing. I'm curious what you think and where you see like these lines being drawn.
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought about it, but especially from our conversation right now, the general components that we deal with day in and day out, I mean, they look awfully similar, right? And there's of course nuance, but where is there not? And I'll have to sleep on that. I think there's some real truth to. I mean, that's just simplifying life down real nicely.
Yeah,
which I love.
Of course,
simple life. Come on.
I mean, and here's the thing: life is so hard. Life is so difficult.
Yeah.
There's so many things that you have to take care of. I think that if you can make it at least simpler to think about.
For sure.
Obviously, you have to do things. You have to do these things, right?
Right.
But if your mentality going into it can be more straightforward, the time, like there's a great phrase that I can't think of. I hope I do, but the time from entering a new situation to having a strong handle on that situation and being fruitful in it, whether that be personal relationship, financial, job, coaching, whatever. Time from new to mastery, the more you can shorten that, the better.
Yep.
Because that point where you're good at it, where you're comfortable in it, that's where that ball starts to roll, the snowball starts to grow exponentially. And so to me, if you can make the most general improvements possible, you just move that start time up a little bit.
Yep.
And you're closer to that point where you're comfortable.
Right.
You're doing well at something. And so, yeah, I mean, why not make life a little easier? Because things are so hard. Something's gonna happen that you don't expect.
Yeah.
And if you can manage those things just a little bit easier, then you can go back to doing things well, being joyful in things sooner. And so,
very good.
Yeah,
very philosophical from Austin Green today.
Well, that's the goal here, right? With this podcast, the reason why I want to do this is to talk to people like you and a lot of people not like you and get these nuggets, right? Because I think that this idea I have that I'm saying now, the more I can concretize that, turn it into something very applicable for people and for myself, the better. The more people that know and can actually apply what I'm saying, because this is like you said, very philosophical, very make things all the same.
Beneficial.
Right.
I mean, I am benefiting from this, absolutely.
So there
I think we both are.
I think I want this. I mean, it is for me, right? Like, and for who I'm talking to, like, I want this.
Right.
I want to have these conversations, to see these connections, to make them from you, because I'm learning so much right now from you, talking to you, making these connections as we talk. And like, I'd love for other people to benefit from that too. Mm-hmm. And so, because I think a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do something like this.
Right.
And because I do, I feel like it's my responsibility to help other people with that.
I like it.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's very cool.
That's a great mission. I fully subscribe to the mission. But while on the topic of hobbies, you got to explain to us the chess journey you're on. I mean, this is good.
Yeah, no, the chess thing is fun, and it's all just the same.
It's all the same,
which is great. So chess, yeah. So I've been playing a good bit of chess recently, and I would love to talk to somebody about chess, like someone like really good at chess.
I know, yeah. I was about to say you're in the wrong. You got the wrong guy.
Well, I don't know anybody. I'm not even that good at chess, to be totally clear. Like, my rating right now is like 750.
Yeah.
In 10-minute games, which is like that's not very good. Like, I'm finally learning how to not eat the pieces whenever I look at them, you know. And so I just lose them all and not blunder anything.
Right.
But like talking to somebody, oh man, that'd be cool. Talk to somebody like super good, like really 2000 level kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because just the level of understanding that you have of the game at that point,
for sure,
is just massive. So that would be cool.
I'd be curious how their brains work.
Yeah.
I've watched some stuff on Magnus. Mm-hmm. His brain is just crazy.
Oh my gosh, the way that
Hikaru.
They're just so like, and it's almost you can't say like, obviously they're smart. Anyone that's like really good at something is going to be like a pretty intelligent person probably, right. Especially at that level about chess, which is so like calculating. But it's just, oh my god, it's so impressive. Right. The way they think about things, the way they explain things. I think I saw, I don't know if it was recently him saying it, but I recently saw Hikaru talking about how chess is just like life.
Okay.
And
this is good.
Yeah. How you have to, let me think about the order he kind of presented it. This is a few days ago. So, chess is just like life. Chess is a good analog to life.
Okay.
Because you have to think about, from the beginning of starting anything meaningful, you have to think about your structure, mm-hmm. how you're going to fundamentally approach what you're doing, but you also have to consider how the system around you is approaching back at you, because you're not the only dynamic being in the game.
Right.
The game also plays against you, and in chess it's another person.
Right.
But in life it's everything. Everything's always moving. Everything's always changing. And so while you have an idea of what you want your structure to be and your approach to be, and there's like, there are main lines in chess and there are main lines in life.
Right.
Like there are well-worn tracks, but you have to be able to think on your feet. You have to be able to approach and change what your approach is going to be based on what the system does in response. Mm. And so that's kind of the end of like what his kind of thought was about it.
Interesting. Is this in would you say that's an agreement or contradiction to your life is all the same theory? Maybe a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. I think it is a more complex version.
Okay.
I think it's the same, a little bit less simplified.
Yeah.
I think it's an agreement,
Okay.
But a little bit more nuanced. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I like it.
Because to me, that seems like, well, maybe what I was saying before is very generalized, like you're saying, mm-hmm. very philosophical, and doesn't fully take into account the dynamics of the system that you're in.
Right. And
how that can change. Now, I do think that most systems generally in life change in similar magnitudes.
Okay.
Maybe not in the same like variables of the system, but like most changes will be somewhat equal.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Interesting.
It's like the amount of change in some given variable, I would expect to be vaguely similar across different systems. Whether what variable that is may change between systems, but the amount that it changes wouldn't be very different.
Interesting.
Does that track?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So the chess example, the chess connection being that now you're taking into consideration with the analogy those dynamics of how the system responds.
Right.
And so a little more specific, a little bit maybe a little more applicable, a little more helpful on the day-to-day level. But chess is so much fun.
Chess is cool.
It's a fun little thing, especially because now it's so accessible.
Right.
It's grown so much that I'll play a couple chess games during my lunch at work.
I know.
Just like get a few in. Sometimes I'll win them. Playing chess at work is probably not a good idea, and so I should probably stop. But
yeah, cut that.
I know. Can't have them.
Yeah.
But just the mentality of thinking ahead like that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge thing. Not letting, again, the ego of like, I know what I want to do. I think I know what you're going to do.
Right.
And so I have this plan. It's going to work no matter what. And then like, oh, I didn't think about that. Like there's so many factors that come into play. And I was explaining this to one of my coworkers the other day, actually. I think one of the things that I have yet to develop strongly in chess, and I think in life, is, but specifically in chess, is being very good at knowing what my opponent's best move is.
Ooh.
So
I like it.
I'm getting like fairly okay at knowing generally what the best move is going to be for me.
Okay.
On any given move.
Yeah.
Or what a good response is for somebody will be, and kind of seeing what the next 2 or 3 moves might be.
Okay.
But I'm not very good at, I know what I'm going to do, but not quite good at seeing what their best move would be in response.
Interesting.
And I think that's where the real skill gains start to happen, is being able to say, okay, this is best for me, and then this is best for them, and then this is best for me.
Yeah. Being
able to play both sides.
Right. Kind of that leveling. I know that you know that I know that you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
So that's a big growth point for me in chess, and I would say probably in life. And I think part of that in life is experience. Mm-hmm. Just turning 24.
Right.
Is like, I know that I'm young and there's a lot left to learn. And that's why another reason why I want to do this podcast, because like I'm young and I know that I don't know very much.
Right.
And
neither of us do. None of us do, really.
I mean, good point.
None of us do.
There are people that know a lot about specific things.
Right.
But like turning that into something applicable to more people, that's a hard ask. Mm-hmm. And I want to do that. So I don't know. The chess thing is fun. We should play chess. You teach me how to play poker, and we can play some chess.
Okay. I need
get
to
good.
See, I was in the Queen's Gambit chess craze when Queen's Gambit came out. Have you seen that?
Actually, no.
You gotta watch it.
I should. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Netflix. It's that's a good show, and it'll make you want to play a lot more chess. So you could get a little ELO rating boost just by watching the show.
There you go. Go.
Yeah, great show. But I do enjoy chess.
Do you have any openings?
No. Oh. No. I just kind of get after it. Mm. See what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is fun. Let's see. Oh, here's a fun one that I was looking forward to asking you about, and we didn't discuss this before, so we'll see where this goes. But what is the most exciting thing that has happened to you in the past 6 months?
I mean, this is very recent, as in about a month ago, but we are getting a dog.
Yes, official announcement.
Yeah, the official. Yeah, it and I know, like, this is Gabe's conversation about Mello is
not a dog.
Not a dog. That is a child. That is a kid. But along that same vein, that's what I'm looking forward to is kind of having, and I know it's a dog, but have something to look after, to take care of with your spouse, and kind of the challenges and the disagreements and whatever that's going to raise up. So we'll get the dog soon, like within the next week or so, and it'll be exciting. It'll be interesting to see what that stirs up. Our life right now is pretty good. We're kind of just rocking and rolling. So we figured we needed to stir things up a little bit and throw another variable in. So we're getting a little dog. I think that's the most exciting. I mean, during baseball season, my day is pretty cut and dry. Work, baseball, sleep. Sometimes a lot of baseball, sometimes a lot of work, and then a little sleep. But I am very excited about that. I think the dog will be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll have to we'll do a dog play date.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kiyomi is very exciting, very, very excitable.
Yes.
I mean, but he's so gentle with other dogs.
I know.
And not so much with people. He's a big jump on you and tackle you and try and hump you.
Yeah.
But he's taking him to the dog park every once in a while, and he's real, like, he just wants to meet him, and he doesn't do any like aggressive behavior.
That's awesome.
I don't know how, because he's
such a sweet puppy.
He's such a sweet guy.
What about you guys? What's the most 6 months? What's the most exciting? I mean, starting a podcast has got to be way up there.
I was gonna say that's pretty high on the list in the
Yeah.
past 6 months too. That's going back. Oh my gosh, only to November of last year. That's weird. Yeah, I mean,
That is weird.
6 months, end of the year. I would say it's between the podcast, starting this.
For sure.
Like, I'm so pumped about doing this. It's so exciting. Like, because this is number 3, right?
Right.
Starting to get in the kind of role of it, like seeing what's actually important to do beforehand, to do after, how to do things better. Like, actually starting to see how that is real, is exciting.
Right.
That's probably the most exciting thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you had something more exciting than this, I'd be shocked.
Yeah,
this is quite the endeavor too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at the setup.
Yeah.
Like, this is who would have thought this was show number 3?
Fair enough. I mean, hey, and actually, one of the realizations, one of the things I've learned is important is, like, this is pretty cool, but I think I've learned that it's not as important as I thought it was before I started.
Ooh, interesting.
I think having like the background, the sound editing is definitely important, but I think, like, the background being, black and uniform. It's like, I mean, yeah, but also maybe the background should be a little interesting. Like, have things in the background. Like, if we're gonna move at some point, then, like, this may not work in a new place.
Right.
And so, being flexible with that, understanding, like, okay, maybe it's more important to just have a space at all, and have just a place to get the reps in, to do more episodes.
I like it.
And get good at it. Having quality cameras, quality microphones, like, we're doing that. Like, how to prepare those things properly, how to have them in the right places, how to be consistent with everything, how to speed up the editing process. It's very, like, I'm learning a lot about things I didn't even think about 6 months ago.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah. I would also say I did go skiing in November, and that was pretty awesome.
I love skiing.
I love skiing.
That's another great answer.
Yeah. I mean, I would say there are very few things so accessible as skiing that are as, like, immediately exciting as skiing. I don't know, because, like, I would say skydiving, way more exciting.
Have you skydived?
I've not.
Neither have I.
My brother-in-law has. When he graduated high school, I think the day before he graduated, he went and did a skydive.
Wow.
And he told me all about it. Not on the podcast, just generally he told me about it. And just the thrill of falling 10,000 feet or however far you end up falling.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's on my... I did iFly one time.
That's probably enough.
The indoor skydiving. Yeah,
what is that
fun.
like?
I mean, it's intense. See, it's hard to breathe. Like, you have to think about, at least for me in iFly, you have to think about breathing because there's so much air just going in. You have to think about exhaling and then breathing in. So you just have to think about your breathing, which, I mean, I was in iFly, so I was never like with an instructor, so I was never panicked or anything. But I could imagine if I were 10,000 feet in the air, heart rate might be a little bit higher, breathing might be a little bit tougher. So it, yeah, I don't know. That does not a big heights guy.
No, I agree. I don't think jumping out of a plane on purpose is something that I foresee in my future.
No.
That might change. I don't know. It could change at some point, but point being, skiing, very accessible, very learnable.
Absolutely.
You can do it over and over and over. It's not cheap, but that's so exciting to just like slide down a mountain,
right?
Way faster than maybe you would think you want to go.
So cool.
Yeah, I love that. So that was pretty exciting. That was almost exactly 6 months ago. So I don't know, but that's kind of what's been going on, more or less. This has been a big focus for me, the podcast, and so
rightfully so, and it shows. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
I'm excited to see how it continues to get better. Mm-hmm. Like visually.
What do you think the next improvement? Like, if you had one thing right now? Obviously another camera.
Mm-hmm. That's like the big obvious one.
Yeah.
Getting just another like actual camera.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think beyond that, that's probably the last piece of equipment.
Sure.
And then the next thing is just get the reps in.
Love it.
Like do one as much as possible, like every week if possible.
Yeah.
And then
start pumping out content.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So get them posted. I guess having a name at the moment, the name is up in the air, and so obviously this is being recorded before it's been posted.
I know.
So
maybe there might be a name.
There will be a name by the time anyone hears this.
Probably.
So, yeah, there will. Yeah. By the time anyone hears this and listens, hey everybody, there is a name now, so this is no longer applicable.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the faster I can get to the first 100, I think is better.
Is that your number?
I think
100?
that's yeah. I think for 2025 year, the number is I think 25.
Okay.
And then, but like the sooner I can get to 100, the better.
Yeah.
Because I think once you've done 100 of anything, the amount of skill you've gained, especially for like longer form things like this.
Yeah.
Maybe what I mean is more like probably heard of like 10,000 hours.
Yeah, 10,000 hour rule.
Mm-hmm. And a reframe that I heard recently was I can't remember who it was. I wish I could give credit, but anyway, a reframe that I heard recently was not necessarily 10,000 hours, but 10,000 repetitions of something.
Interesting.
So like I'm gonna use golf as an example.
Okay.
Because repetitions are easy.
Yep.
If you think 10,000 hours of golfing is way more than 10,000 reps, you can take a lot of swings in an hour. And I think if you swing a golf club 10,000 times, you'll be at a level so beyond whenever you first swung one that you'll be like good enough to appreciate like skill differences, very like minute, nuances in the sport. And so I think 10,000 reps of recording a podcast. I don't know how you can't do 10,000 episodes.
Right.
But maybe 10,000 like minutes kind of idea, or like 10,000 15-minute segments, whatever you want to think about it as. Like I think once you get to 100 episodes, that's like probably a good number.
Right.
To be at a skill level where now it's the way you think about the game has changed.
Sure.
So that's kind of like the next big thing. Get there as fast as possible.
Yeah, just reps and experience.
Yeah.
That's good. Same with coaching. I mean, the only way you learn it is to do it. Mm. Yeah, and it very, very cool.
Yeah. How do you like learn how to coach? I mean, obviously, like basically the only way you learn it is by doing it.
Right.
But like, do you just like say, "Hey, I want to coach," and they say, "All right, go."
Yeah. So when I first started, years back, the first time I coached was out at a Little League with some buddies, and I was kind of neither here nor there on it. And I ended up going out there and doing it with some friends and really loved it. And then the year after that, I had a coach, one of my previous high school coaches reached out to me and he asked if I wanted to coach middle school baseball. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So I started coaching 7th grade baseball, did that for a year. And then for the past couple years, I've been doing high school. So it's been quick moving up. But it's just some great opportunities that really kind of just fell into my lap.
Yeah.
That I've been able to run with and take advantage of. Very exciting.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm so happy for you in that it's something you love, something that you're growing in and doing well. Obviously, I know y'all are doing pretty good, so you have a part in that for sure. So I'll ask maybe one more thing.
Perfect.
What have you been reading recently? If I know, like you said, your days have been pretty cut and dry. A lot of work, baseball, sleep.
A lot of baseball.
But books, articles. What's something interesting you learned recently?
So really, what I'm reading right now, little nostalgia trip. I'm reading through all the Hunger Games books.
Okay.
Have you read the Hunger Games?
I've seen the movies.
Okay, good. You've seen all the movies. One. I don't know so that's one thing I'm reading. Just kind of, that's my fun read. I don't know. I like that world. The other book I'm reading right now is, I think it's called it might just be called Flow, or maybe The Art of Flow. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's about entering like flow state with your brain and kind of what your brain's doing, how you can harness that, how you can take advantage of it. Super, super interesting. And that I'm pretty early on in that book, so I'm not a flow expert yet, but that's been an interesting read so far. So those are my two, kind of feeling it out. And honestly, I don't even know what I could use flow state for right now. I don't have like a goal like, if I could flow state work better. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. But it's been a super, super cool book.
Yeah. Do you remember who the author is?
I can't think of it right now.
That's okay.
Yeah. I need to look at it. It's on my bedside table.
There you go. A little nightly reading before you go to sleep.
Exactly.
That is cool. Okay. Well, I'll have to ask you more about flow next time we talk.
You could use that for chess.
Oh.
Yeah. Next time, hopefully I'll have a better understanding of flow state.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a cool one. That'll be a fun one. Dude, Jaret Prothro, everybody. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you being here. This is super cool.
This is exciting.
Episode 3. Super excited. What's next for you? Like, what are you doing in the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year? Like,
I don't know.
On your plate?
We'll finish up baseball in the next couple months. Take care of a dog. Learn about flow state. I don't know. It's really up in the air. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, maybe a little poker, a little chess.
Maybe a little poker, maybe a little chess. That's great.
Awesome, dude. Well, I appreciate you being here. This has been a really good conversation. Thank you.
This is awesome.